this car is just badass.
So back in the early 2000s, my dad met this fellow at the racetrack, said he had an LS7 Camaro Baldwin Motion car, one of one. I don't know if my dad necessarily believed him at the time, but he brought the car in and said he wanted to do a full ground up restoration. After a little bit of homework, they realized how special this car was. So, on Dream Car Garage, they did the full restoration of this car. Now the restoration is 20 years old and it still looks as good as the day it came out of the shop. I want to show you guys that clip. But first, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so we can keep this channel growing. All right, let's roll the clip.
So this big black Camaro would have impressed me in 1969, but this is even more impressive than you might think. Tell us about this very special car.
This is a Baldwin Motion Camaro. In place of the normal 396 big block motor, this car is equipped with an LS7 454. In addition to the engine, there's a different rear end in the car. There's a high performance scatter shield and clutch assembly. They do traction bars in the car, basically setting the car up as a bracket race, drag race type car.
When John and I first talked, he told me an LS7 Camaro, and I
what did you say?
Right. But I didn't say that, and I said, well, send me the paperwork. And the next day over the fax comes this paperwork, and it's, wow, everything's there. I mean, it was perfect.
Well, do you feel confident? Can we shake
Yes,
down
I
this?
do.
You're going to sign
Looking
the car over
forward
to
to the
us?
project.
I think you found one of the best in the business to do the job.
For those of you who don't know just how special a Baldwin Motion Camaro is, the best place to start is Marty Shore's book. Let me show you guys. So Marty Shore was the editor and writer for the magazine Cars back in the day. Super knowledgeable guy, especially on this kind of stuff. If you look through here, there it is, the Baldwin Motion Camaro. So the fellow that bought this car knew, Ray, he wanted the 427 Baldwin Motion Camaro, Phase 3 car. So the guys at Motion said, you know what, if you really want the big dog, how about we put a 454 LS7 in it? This became the one-of-one Baldwin Motion LS7 car. So let's go pull this thing out. So this thing is truly a one-of-one car. You know, that 454 engine, as it was rated for the 1970 Corvette, was 460 horsepower. But by the time everything was said and done, this 454 LS7 made 522 horsepower, closer to 600 foot-pounds of torque, mated with an M22 Rock Crusher 4-speed and a 488 Posi 12-bolt. Man, this thing's gonna go. The car has now been sitting in the showroom for 10, 11 years since my dad bought it back from the guy that he restored it for initially in 2000, 2001. Obviously, my dad kept tabs on it being such a rare, special car. He was able to purchase it 10, 11 years ago. The car's always been up here sitting pretty just outside my office, but this is gonna be my first opportunity to ever drive the thing. It always takes a lot of effort and a lot of being careful pulling these cars down from upstairs. We've got some high dollar cars here. 1968 prototype GT500, one of one, but that's a whole other story. Now that we've carefully brought the car downstairs, let's fire this thing up and stretch its legs. Step on the gas pedal, you realize you are not in Kansas anymore. This is not an off the showroom floor Camaro. Holy cow. From the outside, this car looks pretty darn stock, but as soon as you sit in it, you realize this thing's a hot rod. You've got your gauges here, water temp, amperage, and then your oil pressure right down there. You've got your MSD ignition box just peeking out from underneath the passenger side. But most obviously, the way the car sounds. Big lumpy Phase 3 cam, proper Phase 3 car, 850 carb under the hood. Man, oh man. Trying to turn this thing around is a chore, but you know what? That's not what it was built for. This thing is a sleeper and a drag car, and that's it. You gotta be quick through the gears, grab the T-handle hearse there. With the steep gear in it, you gotta keep your hand on the shifter, your eyes on the Sun Super Tack gear, and you gotta get up through the gears quickly, and you've gotta get back to the gas pedal on your upshifts, or else you're gonna be in a whole lot of trouble. And you gotta get out of first gear quick, into second gear, up to third, back to the power. up to fourth. Oh my goodness. What a blast. As you get on the gas pedal, you really notice those big traction bars. This thing just pulls and it's got so much traction, so much forward bite. Such a solid feeling rear end. Man, oh man, the car is hooked up. Not necessarily a cruiser, and the car, the way it's geared, isn't meant to go down the Mulsanne straight. I almost feel like I'm doing a shakedown on a race car and it's good and let's just go put it away. I don't want to break anything. But this car was built for taking people's money on Saturday night. Of course, the car's got the big dual electric fuel pumps, so it's always got fuel there. Boy, I'd love to take this thing to a drag strip. You know, my dad, he drove this thing on the show. Literally, he didn't even have the decals on the car, had just finished the restoration in the early 2000s, went out and he did a 1390 on his first pass out of the gate. This car is just badass.
Now, you're going to go race this car. We know you as a road racer of some aplomb around here.
It's been 15 years since I've been at a drag strip.
So you still know what you're doing?
We'll give it a whirl. Ran a 1390 at 103 miles an hour.
That's not so bad, eh?
Not bad. I mean, we weren't shifting the thing at big RPM. We're taking a little bit easy for them. And it definitely lights up the tires every gear. So.
So now that I've driven the thing, I'm qualified to ask the question, do you need a car like this? No. No one needs a Baldwin Motion LS7 Camaro. They just don't. But do you want a car like this? If you want one of the rarest Camaros on the planet, one of the quickest Camaros on the planet, and almost a 7-figure muscle car, yeah, you want a car just like this one. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, and hit that notification bell. We want to keep this channel growing. Check out some of our other videos, some of my favorites, getting to drive the Countach, Testarossa, reviewed a Saleen S7. Be sure to stay tuned for new content coming every week.